The entire point of making money, working as hard as we do, is so that we can live the lives that we want, to be happy. And it breaks my heart how many people do not know what life they want to live. There's this sense of I must make more money so that I can buy more things, so I can feel more secure, so that I can experience more of life. And there might even be some specific things like buy myself a house, buy my mom a house, go on this trip, buy this toy, buy this car, buy this, I don't know, other thing that the endless number of things that we could buy in this world. And our world supports it, right? Because our world wants us to buy more and more and more things so that the whole capitalist economy can continue. But if you think about the fact that money is simply a means and you're not a power hungry megalomaniac who's just amassing wealth for power. If you're an everyday person who's just trying to make money so you can live your life, what's the life you want to live? And what that question is really asking is, what is the quality of the life you want to experience? What are the experiences you want to have separate from going to places and ticking off a list of countries or restaurants or whatever other accumulated list you have? What is the quality of the existence you want to have? What does peace look like? What does security feel like? What does feeling joyful entail for you? What does feeling loved and cared for entail for you? How do you feel worthy and valued? Like, if money isn't a concern, like, how would you live? Right? Because after you buy all the things, that's a moment in time when you acquire the thing. And then you, the individual, have to live that life. Right? And this is why the number of people who make the money and buy the things are inevitably still not happy because they didn't consider what they wanted to do now that they have all the things and all the money and all the wealth and all the freedom. And then starts oftentimes this self-discovery journey to start to figure out, wait, who am I if I don't need money, right? If I'm not working all the time, if my identity and my worth and my value is not tied to the attainment of this money and this wealth. So some of the questions are, what do you want to exist in your everyday? How do you want your everyday to feel? Who's in it? Who are the relationships and the people that matter most to you? And what kinds of relationships do you have with them? What do you spend your time doing? What activities are you engaged in? Could be hobbies and interests and passions, but I mean more like, how are you like acting in this life? What activities are you directly involved in? And if they are hobbies, awesome. But also, how do you show up just as a human, right? Like, how do you engage this life that you have? Are you generous? Are you kind? Are you checking in on others and seeing how they are and seeing how you can help? Are you just all about yourself and wanting to self-satisfy and create more and more kind of experiences just for you? Like, how do you want to exist in this existence once you have the money? How do you like spend your day from morning to evening? What do you envision like waking up to do? What do you see? What kind of setting are you in? What kind of places bring you a sense of peace and calm? What kind of home do you wake up in and then start your, morning routine or just your morning activities in? What are the first things you do? Do you have pets? Right? Do you have kids? Do you have a partner? Are you by yourself? Do you have a garden you have to go tend to? Like, I think so often we forget that our lives are just made up of days after days after days. And how we exist in those days makes up the quality of our existence. But if we don't know what the quality of that existence entails, then buying the thing and enjoying the thing is only going to take you so far. And so there's the deeper inquiry of what you want to experience in this life. And yes, one-off things should go on that list, like the travel destinations that you want to go to, the experiences you want to have, like skydiving or something, or paragliding. But then your everyday isn't necessarily going to be those things, right? Unless you're going to go become a paragliding instructor or you're going to go live in, the Galapagos for a while. Like separate from the one-off things, which, like I said, should go on the list. How are you engaging with your surroundings? How are you engaging your passions and your hobbies? Who is joining you for those hobbies and activities? What does a good day feel like? What does a day in which you felt peace and joy and like that was a worthwhile 18 hours that you just spent? Like, what does that entail? And the answers to that should be more qualitative, more experiential, more tied to how you want to feel and how you want to engage with your life. Because if we get too prescriptive about how it should look, as in, I wake up in this city and I do these exact things and I go to this restaurant and I go to, I see these people and I then come back and run this routine and then I go to the gym at this time. That's a day in the life, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when we're trying to understand what we want, we've already prescribed how it's going to look. And if we prescribe how it's going to look, we kind of restrict ourselves from considering what other ways could the qualities that we want to experience, knowing this is what peace, love, joy mean to us, how else could that show up in our lives? What are the other manifestations of that experience? Because there's no one way to feel peace or to feel love or to feel joy. And if we understand how we want to feel and how we want to engage with the things that most matter to us in life, then it's less about trying to figure out exactly what it needs to look like to get those things, because there's going to be endless ways that you can get those things. It'll be more about us tuning into recognizing when that feeling is present and maximizing that, and allowing ourselves the opportunity to explore all the new and different ways that those experiences that we want, the qualities that we want, can be present in our lives. Because we have not done everything that a human could possibly experience on this planet. No one person ever has. And so there's no way for us to prescribe all the ways that we could feel joy, love, excitement, happiness, right? And every single day is different. Every day that we interact with someone is different. And so we don't allow ourselves the possibility to find new ways that we can experience all the things we want to experience. And so if we lean into understanding the quality of the experiences that we want and setting experiential goals rather than outcome goals in which we've already predetermined what the outcome can be, that allows a lot of range and flexibility in how the life that we want can come to life. But there's the other aspect too, where by understanding that, by understanding the quality of the life you want to live, the quality of the existence and the experiences you want to have, one thing that almost always happens when people do this is they recognize how much of their life already allows them to experience those things. Because if you can define what you're looking for, if you define what a meaningful life and fulfilling life entail, you're more cognizant of recognizing when it's there because you're looking for it, right? Which is why the value of doing visioning exercises is helpful, because you have an idea of what it could be. And so you're seeking it, you're putting things into action that can get you it. And so if you understand, for example, in my life, If I have a deep connection every day, and a deep connection can happen with a stranger, it doesn't have to happen with someone I know intimately. If I feel connected to another human at some kind of depth in any given day, I know that that was a good day for me. That was a meaningful day because I had a level of human connection that made me feel alive. But I don't have to define it is with these people. It happens at these places. It is when I have these kinds of conversations. Because the possibility for that sense of deep connectedness to another human can happen because I see a dog that I want to say hi to and I ask the person if I can say hi. And by petting that dog, we have this really great conversation and we happen to be neighbors and we learn about how they got this dog. And maybe there's some really beautiful reason why they chose this breed of dog. Or maybe it was a mutt from a rescue. And you then get to learn about each other and you feel connected to another human being on this planet that I didn't know 3 minutes prior. But if I've already defined for myself that it needs to look a certain way, then I may still have that experience, but not recognize that I was getting something deeply meaningful to myself. And so when people do this, oftentimes what you'll start to find is how much of your life already has what you want. And it's not to say you shouldn't make more money. It's not to say you shouldn't keep working hard and striving for whatever it is you're striving for. But part of the pain that humans feel is the gap between where we are and where we want to be. And if where we want to be is not something we actually understand clearly, and it's just kind of this like fuzzy amorphous thing of like generally more wealth, more health, more security, just more stuff, then the gap will always feel rather wide. But if you know where you're trying to go and the life that you want to live is rooted in feeling peace each day, the sense of inner peace, that even if shit's happening in the world, that you know how to get back to this solid baseline, this peaceful baseline where you know that you're going to be okay. If you know that a good existence is you reaching out to a loved one, they don't have to reach back out, they don't have to respond, but you reach out to a loved one to let them know that you love them, that you connected with some living thing on this planet. And it could be a squirrel. It doesn't even have to be a human. It could just be that you stopped and observed a squirrel for the day. And that felt like a moment where you could feel awe and wonder at how beautiful the world is. Like, if you understand those kinds of things about your life, then they're often things that we can already start to make happen for ourselves today if they're not already happening. And some of the work is sometimes just recognizing that it's already in your life. Because what you do is close the gap then between where you think you are today and the life you want to live. And if you start to recognize that the life you want to live is already happening, the gap won't feel so big, even if you have high aspirations of how much money you want to make, what you want to buy, places you want to go. Because if you understand what matters, you can start to center that already today, even if the things that are going to cost money are going to take you more time to get to. And by defining a life that you want, not rooted in dollar amounts and assets and a checklist of items that you have to acquire, but rather the human experience and what makes your human experience worthwhile, that makes the life you want that much more accessible. And if you do this work, I promise you, I have no doubt in my mind that you will immediately be closer to the life that you want because you'll recognize how much you've taken for granted already, how much was already within your reach. Because research study after research study, even though we don't need the research studies to tell us that the things that matter in life are our connections and our relationships, our health and mobility, moving, exercise, being outside, connecting with the natural world, doing things that are meaningful to us, our activities, hobbies, feeling like our lives are meaningful, knowing what a meaningful existence, a purposeful existence entails. Most of that stuff doesn't require much money. And if we root our lives in the stuff that matters, we'll feel far less pain because just by doing that work, we close the gap between where we think we are today and where we're trying to go.